Success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about living a life that reflects your values and priorities. Welcome to Engineer Your Success, the podcast that helps you lead with intention and live fulfilled.
Hey, I want to welcome you to the Engineer Your Success podcast. My name is Dr. James Bryant, your host and your guide to designing and living a life where you are winning at work and at home. And today, and I may say this almost every week because I think every guest that we have is special, but today we have a special guest. It is Dr. Luster-Teasley Pass, the Dean of the College of Engineering at North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, my undergrad institution. Dr. Teasley Pass, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Bryant and Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride. So let's get into it. Tell the audience a little bit about what you are currently doing now, but I do want to get into your journey, into how you got there.
Well, thank you. I'm Stephanie Luster-Teasley Pass, Dean of the College of Engineering and proud graduate from North Carolina A&T State University in Chemical Engineering. But I have been faculty at North Carolina A&T for the last 22 years. And for the last 3 years, I've served as the Dean of Engineering. And so I am the first woman who graduated from A&T to lead the College of Engineering. And I have a total of 2,800 students who are pursuing their engineering and computer science degrees. So very excited to lead the college. And it's one of my passions because I strongly believe in what we do at A&T and our College of Engineering.
You're one of the first who has gotten your degree from A&T to come back and lead the college. Let's talk about that journey.
Yep. So the very first woman, what's really interesting is when I was an undergraduate at A&T and walking through McNair Hall, I used to see the photos of the engineering deans on the wall. And I would wonder, well, how do you get your photo up there? And so now, as someone who has her photo up there, it's really neat to walk through the hallways and I'll have students that will look at me, then I'll look at the photo, then they'll look at me and I'm like, yes. But I always wanted to teach at a HBCU. When I was a student, I never saw any women who were my faculty in the College of Engineering. You know, I had a few female faculty over in chemistry and math, but in engineering, there were none when I came through. And so
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to teach ultimately after working in industry. I never knew it would be North Carolina A&T, but I'm glad it is. And I've spent my career here. And I just love the fact that I have taught thousands of students who are now working as engineers. So it's a passion.
When you graduated from A&T, what was the next part of your journey?
And so the next part was I went to graduate school. I attended Michigan State, where I got my master's in chemical engineering and my PhD in environmental engineering. I then worked for about a year and a half as an environmental engineer in industry. Always wanted to go back and teach. And so I was down in Birmingham, Alabama, remediating a pond with my team. And I got a call from the Dean of Engineering who said that they were interviewing for faculty and asked me if I would be interested in applying, and I did, and the rest is history.
Wow. Okay. And so you had some industry experience, you were out there, you were working, but there was always this call that I will say for you to go back and fulfill that dream of becoming a faculty. And so you started off as a faculty, and then what was your journey like as a faculty then to being the department head there?
Yeah, so being a faculty member, you have to, of course, teach your classes, but you're also dedicated to research and then and service. And so I worked in my laboratory with my students doing water remediation. I developed a patented technology while I was working as a faculty member. And ultimately, I was happy in my lab and you happened to meet me at the ASEE conference in
Yeah.
Seattle. And we were talking about, being faculty and enjoying it and that the department chair position was open. And you asked me if I was going to apply. And I told you, no, I'm perfectly happy being a faculty in my laboratory with my students. And you asked the question, if someone else were to become department chair, and lead the department in a different direction,
Hmm.
would you be able to feel comfortable with that? And my
Yeah.
answer was no.
Yeah.
And so I did put my name in the hat and I became department chair. So
Yes.
I led the Department of Civil and Architectural and Environmental Engineering for 4.5 years. And then I went on to upper level administration at the university level, but then was asked to come back to be dean.
Hmm.
And I love it. I really do.
And she absolutely loved it. I had the pleasure of coming back to A&T to participate in the Carolinas conference. I think now they call it the ASCE Student Symposium. And she's walking around campus, big smile on her face. You are really happy. And I know that A&T is excited to have you in the seat that you're in now. What's been the biggest difference, you would say, from being leading a department to now being in charge of a college?
Yeah. Being in charge of a college, you have to think of more than just your small department. So, as department chair, all I had to do was focus on civil, architectural, and environmental. So now I have to multiply that times seven because I have a total of seven departments. And so you have to think holistically about what is the direction you need to take the college as a whole, but then also thinking about each of your departments. And so when you look at the departments that we have at A&T, we have chemical, biological, and bioengineering, which is our biomedical program. We have civil, architectural, and environmental, industrial and systems engineering, electrical and computer engineering, computational data science, mechanical engineering, and computer science. And so there's a lot of balls to juggle, but I want to make sure each department gets the support that they need, the funding they need, the students are taken care of by the faculty. The faculty get the support, the staff get what they need so that everyone is working together. Because my philosophy is we're a family. And when we're taking care of each other at the faculty and staff level, that just helps us take care of our students. So a lot of balls to juggle when you're dealing with an entire college as opposed to just a department.
So this next question is in general for your entire journey and career arc. What's been the most challenging experience that you've had as you've been progressing in your career?
I think the most challenging part has probably being a woman in engineering and trying to balance out your career and your family. I think a lot of engineers, just in general, experience that. But I like being a role model for the students that are coming through A&T and students that I engage with because I have a family. I have children who are adults now that have navigated college, but when you're starting your career and you're trying to figure all the pieces and parts out, I think being able to overcome that challenge and mentor others and help them come up with strategies so that, you're your whole self and not one part of your life suffers. It's hard in general, just for everyone to be an engineer. But I have really enjoyed, watching my children see me as a professor, having my students engage with my children, and then letting them see that you really can love what you do and you can be an engineer and be strong. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. And for someone that's listening in that may be looking at that, maybe they're an established engineer or maybe they're thinking about going into engineering. What is there a piece of advice that you would give them, like when things get tough because ultimately it will, something's going to happen, the challenge will occur. What piece of advice would you have for them?
I think you have to have a sense of community and you have to have some sponsors and I like to call them my team that's in place. I have people that I rely on when I just need to pick me up. I have people that I rely on when I have an idea that, might be crazy, but they can say, hey, that's innovative. Have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? I have someone who helps me with what I choose to wear on particular days, a suit. And so, having a variety of different people that you can lean on, I think really is key. You're not strong in every area. And so you find those people in your lives that can just mentor you and coach you along the way so that you can put all the pieces together.
That is beautiful. So let's talk about what's been going on at A&T in the College of Engineering. What's the latest and greatest things that you can share about what's happening down there?
So we're really excited. We're having record enrollment in all of our engineering programs and our computer science program. We just added our bachelor's in artificial intelligence, a bachelor's in aeronautical and astronautical engineering, and pretty soon we should have a few more PhD programs coming online. We already have 5, but we're trying to add a PhD in bioengineering, which is our biomedical program, and then in the future, civil engineering, and then also chemical engineering. So we're working hard here to try to grow our programs that we offer.
One of the things that I liked about A&T was there was a sense of family and a sense of community. What do you see as A&T's secret sauce?
I think because we're rooted and grounded in the human condition and trying to make sure that all of our graduates become leaders who contribute to their communities, there's that sense within our college, but then also throughout campus where the speakers that we have that come to campus to talk to our students about the hot topics that are occurring across the world or how they can be socially responsible to contribute back to their communities or at a larger scale. How can they become entrepreneurs? How can they, just be the types of people who are going to be in leadership roles and have a seat at the table? I think that's our secret sauce. More than just having students come in and consider, I'll go to my classes, then I'll go get a job. No, I think Aggies do is one of our themes and our catchphrase, never done. And that really emanates with everything across campus, whether you're in the College of Engineering or College of Business, Health and Human Sciences. It's just, the whole Aggie experience.
So for that student who's considering coming to A&T, they're considering pursuing an engineering degree. What would you want to say to them?
Yeah, I would say we want you to make sure that you find the right fit. A lot of people will say you're strong in math, you're strong in science, why not become an engineer? And so we really talk about all the different areas of engineering. And our goal is to help you make sure that you become the best engineer or computer scientist that you want. And as you're here, if we talk to you, you say, well, I don't think I'm a mechanical engineer. I think I'm more of an electrical. Our goal is to help counsel you and get you into the right location. And even if someone says, hey, maybe engineering's not for me, we want to make sure that we get you into the right major. So I think it's more than just a number. When you come to A&T, we really care about the student that's sitting with us, so we can steward them to their ultimate career.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the industry partnerships that you have.
Yeah. So I post often on LinkedIn because I want anyone that follows us to know the great things that we're doing in the College of Engineering. At first, I was posting maybe every 2 days, and it just became overwhelming. So I started just collecting all of the activities that are happening in the college for the week. And normally on Fridays, I'll post everything that happened. But we have lobby days with companies 3 days a week. So, companies like Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Johnson& and Johnson, Medtronics, they're in our lobbies there to meet our students, look at their resumes, offer internships, full-time employment, give career advice, and so nonstop. I have about 70 companies that I engage with in a given academic year, and we're constantly looking for new people who want to partner with us, who want to learn more about what we do in the College of Engineering, who are interested in doing research with us or employing our students. And so as the dean, I'm always engaging with different companies, foundations, community stakeholders, and I work really well with our development officer to make sure that it's a win-win for any company that comes to talk to us.
From your purview, what are you hearing from industry as the biggest opportunity that A&T has to help equip students for success when they go in the industry?
Yeah, I think the one thing that we're hearing a lot from companies is making sure that students are comfortable with artificial intelligence. because they are starting to add that to just their normal business model. It's a way to be more efficient. It's a way to make sure that they're able to use maximum resources very quickly. And so having students who lean in to artificial intelligence as opposed to being scared of it is one of the key things that a lot of employers are asking us to consider as we're looking at our programs and working with our students.
And so are you guys beginning to integrate that into the routine of the learning modules that you're doing?
We are. And so the faculty are getting trained. The students are always coming to us with new opportunities in artificial intelligence. Companies are telling us, hey, here are the tools that we are using. We're looking for certificates that students can pursue. We have a few companies that will offer credentialing. And so we're always looking to see how faculty can add AI into their classes or into their curriculum, and then what are the things that students can do outside of the classroom or faculty can do outside of the classroom to grow those skills?
What's one of the biggest challenges that you see in general moving forward as you're continuing to equip the workforce?
Yeah. I think making sure that we have students that want to enter the STEM pipeline, and I'll say more than just engineering, I'll say science, technology, engineering, and math. Because sometimes you have students that aren't necessarily interested in using those technical skills or they see a pathway forward. And so making sure that we have a lot of students involved in robotics, K through 12 outreach, role models that they can see, I think that's key because the nation is at a deficit for people who are technically trained to go into STEM fields. And so all of us have to contribute to that. At A&T, does that very well with the students that we graduate. So just making sure we're spreading it. We have a lot of our students that will go to elementary schools and do outreach so that they can inspire the next generation.
And that's part of what you mentioned earlier about being grounded and being part of not just the A&T community, but the community as a whole.
Correct. We have a elementary school that's affiliated with A&T. It's called Aggie Academy. And so our students that are in our robotics club and help with our first Lego League competitions, they go to schools like Aggie Academy and schools in the area, or if there are rural schools that need help, getting a robotics program up and running, they'll have miniature classes. They'll go out, do hands-on activities because it's getting that K through 12 group excited that hopefully encourages them to go to college and maybe become future professionals in STEM.
I don't want to date both of us, but we were at A&T a long time ago. So for you, what's been the biggest shift at A&T from when we were there up until now?
Well, I don't know if you remember, but email was just becoming popular when we were in school.
Yeah. Yes.
In fact, we had the first set of email addresses on campus. And
Yes.
so just to see that, the technology has grown so much that the students have these tools and resources at their fingertips that we
Yes.
did not have. We carried around slide rulers and then also like the T-squares so that
Yep.
we could do
She's
graphics.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, the students, they have, their laptops, the software, just the sky is the limit with our students now just
Yeah.
because of the resources they have. So I think that's the biggest difference. We
Yeah.
had to do a lot of things by hand, and our students can think it and create it and go to the maker space and build it.
Yeah, I mean, they have more power in their phones than we did probably in any of the labs that we had when we were there at A&T, just because of how technology has continued to evolve.
Yeah. And that's why we try to make sure that we give the students the space and the opportunity really to create and be innovative. The maker space that we have allows a student to come up with an idea and literally 3D print it or go and do the virtual reality programming that they need for, their idea and map it out. So, we try to make sure that these students have everything that they need so that their creativity is limitless as opposed to what we had back in the
Yeah,
day, and I
we didn't
won't
have
say
any
that.
of that. The imagination may have been limitless, but the tools were limited.
Exactly.
So,
Okay.
Stephanie, one of the things that you've mentioned earlier when we talked was the student success, for the students that are there in your department. I would love for you to talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah. So a key focus that we have in the College of Engineering is to make sure that our students get the support that they need. Because as I mentioned earlier, it's more than, just going to classes. We want to look at the whole student. So we have student service specialists in every single department. We also have an entire center that's dedicated to student success and engagement so that if any student needs help in the College of Engineering, they can either go to their department or they can come over to our center so that they can get the support that they need, whether it's advising, counseling, if they want to be an Aggie ambassador or a leader in the college, if there's special training. So I think that makes us unique because we really had a focus with our undergraduates, and now we've expanded it to our graduate students. And so we have a number of workshops that we're offering at the graduate level, such as financial literacy, presentation skills, but at a higher level. Most programs only focus on their undergraduates. And
Yeah.
so we want to make sure that we're touching both levels so that any student that comes through our doors can get the support and the help that they need to navigate college.
Okay. No, that's great. So if someone wants to get in contact with you to find out more about the program, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, the best way first is to go to the website and identify the department that they're interested in finding out more about, and they can contact the department chair. They can contact our case center, which is our Center for Student Excellence and Access. They can contact me, and I can help them navigate to the right location. But the A&T website, the College of Engineering website, probably has a lot of resources that's available for anyone that has questions so we can help answer and navigate them to the right person that can answer their question.
I want to thank you so much for spending time talking to me today. But before we close, I like to do what I call the mic flip moment, where you become the interviewer and I become the interviewee. What is one question that you have for me?
Because you and I went to school together, what I am curious about is if you could talk to your 19-year-old self about your career, what would you tell your 19-year-old self?
Tell my 19-year-old self is don't be afraid of hard things. Is that when things are tough, it is not any kind of indication on your intelligence or how good you are or your value as a person. It just means that there's something that you can grow at or something that you can work at. And that there is nothing that I have found in my career that has been too hard for me not to be able to overcome with prayer, with training, with education, with continuing to move forward and learn that skill or that thing.
Excellent advice. And I think that's very on point for what students need to hear right now because engineering is hard. And knowing that you can push through it and achieve things like yourself, or if they aspire to go into higher education and maybe become a dean. Yeah,
They can do it all, and I'll add this too because folks that may be listening to this may be anywhere in their journey. For engineering, you typically would take the fundamentals of engineering exam, and then that's in preparation to take the professional engineering licensing exam. And I've said this on other podcast episodes, and I'll say it again. No one's going to ask you how many times you may have had to take the FE or any of those exams before you pass. You may be one of those people where you take it the first time, you pass, but you could be like me, where it took me several times to take both and pass. But if you keep continuing to push, you keep continuing to grow and to learn, you can. And so I want folks to know that you can do it. It may be hard, but you can do it. It's not going to be convenient, but guess what? You can do it.
great advice.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Teasley Pass. I really appreciate just you spending time with us.
And thank you. I appreciate this opportunity.
Hi, this is James, the coach at your corner. It's been well over 30 years since I first stepped foot on the campus of North Carolina Agricultural Technical State University as a student. One thing that I remember so clearly is being part of a community that cared for me, not just for my grades, but for who I was as a person and a scholar. It didn't feel like just being another student. I felt like I was a member of a family. Everyone doesn't have that level of support, yet that is the kind of support that we need when things get hard and when you start to doubt your own ability. I want you to know this. You can make it through whatever you are facing. Things may be hard right now, but they are preparing you for who you need to be at the next level of your life and your career. Here's something I've always found helpful when I need encouragement. I can choose to be encouragement for someone else. You don't have to wait until you feel fully supported to start supporting someone. Often, the way you build community around yourself is by becoming that community for someone else first. So here's what I want you to do this week. First, reach out to someone in your network, not a general, hey, how are you, but actually reach out. Second, I want you to connect with them genuinely to see where they are right now, not where you assume they are. Ask, but more importantly, I want you to listen. Third, encourage them. Whatever they're carrying, be the voice that tells them that they can make it through. I'm Dr. James Bryant, the coach in your corner, and I want you to be great this week. Thanks.